Here we have the philco. I think it's a 56C. I'm hoping it's right. I'll change it if it's wrong. I got this in the junk shop for £100. I recapped it, got it going. What I did is I drilled all the Bakelite caps. I left them in there, I couldn't get them out, so what I did is I drilled them all down through the eyelets, checked that they were connected, and then soldered the new smaller ones to the terminals. I put a new output valve, and I also put in a new rectifier. 3 of the valves, the RF valves, have been changed to ST ones, so I thought I'd better get these, and I got them new. One in this country, and one of the valves, the type 42, I can't remember what it is, came from the United States. I bought 2 valves from there. So I got 1 spare rectifier, I'll get a spare output valve, plus I got the 2 globe valves. Now this radio didn't have a volume control. It has an RF gain. So you can never really turn it fully down. You have to shorten and lengthen the aerial wire. The switch is intermittent on the control, but it is a wire wound pot with a switch. Do you think I can get a wire wound with a switch to replace it? Not on your Nelly. So I didn't want to get rid of the original pot which was original to it. The only thing I can do is buy a wire wound and put the switch on the back, and I've done that before now, so I may do that. So this one is really something I've been looking for, and I want to tell you a little bit of a story. If I turn the volume down, I was probably about 14, 15, and there was an advert on the TV. You might remember it as the Ovaltine advert, and they had a 634A Philips on there. I recognise it, I can even recognise its number. What I decided to do is to try and get one of those, and even in the 80s they wanted £100–150 for one, and someone said, well, the philco will cost you 100. If you want the Pi, you'll probably pay about 150, and that was in the early 80s. Well, I was going into my friend's shop. It's like a junk shop. Well, I nearly broke me flipping neck, didn't I? So I walked into something and nearly fell over and broke my arse. When I looked down, what did you think I saw? This bloody radio. Now, I've been looking for one of these since I was about 19 and could not get one. Well, I couldn't believe my luck when I saw this. So I said, ring up, find out what the guy would take. He said it was 120, but he'd let you have it for 100. I said, done. And I came home. We did a few caps, we changed all the caps, every single cap came out, checked the resistors, they were actually good, which is unusual, but they were all good. I put in a new bulb, 2 new valves, and the case is what I call original. That brown has been repainted at the bottom, but it all seems to be original. And I didn't want to refinish the case totally. I like something that looks like a vintage radio. I don't want something that looks new. I want something that's a bit lived in, like a family has owned it from new but just looked after it. And it's been in the same house for about 60 years. So I just put some stain and a bit of polish on it. So anyway, that's the Pi. No, this is the philco. Now, I believe it's the 56C. Let's hope it's not the 59. I keep getting mixed up with numbers. But they're very, very rare. It was an English version of an American one. And these sets are known as cathedral radios. I will look and check to find the number when I put the description up on eBay. But this is an early super hat. And the problem is with early super hats, when you play music, they can be quite distorted. Most of the music today has got a lot more bass. And it does tend to sound a bit woolly if you're close to it. But once you move away, you don't hear it. And since I'm going to be playing an FM or a digital tuner through it, then I think that will probably be fine. So anyway, I would just like to say I hope you like my philco from 1932. And the way I date them is I undo them, find the main smoother cap, and it's usually got a date on it when it was roughly put, the capacitor was made. They were usually fitted in a couple of months. So it's got on there August 1932. So that would be one of the very first superhets, probably in this country. So very rare. I expect it's worth probably about at least £200 or £300 at least. Now it's all working. Bye bye everyone. From the Nutcase. From Nut House Productions, as I say.